Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, shehakol niyeh b'dvaroi. L'chaim, l'chaim, everybody. Afrei l'chaim. Happy Purim. Today is Purim. This is the day v'nahapechu. Everything is transformed. The evil ways of Haman are done with. L'chaim. And the blessed ways of Mordechai, the leader of the Jewish people, and the Jewish people come out on top. L'chaim. So we continue with our mimer, with our discourse. Purim, B'layla Lahu, and other Shnas HaMelech. That night, the king arose from his sleep. King, God Almighty is the ultimate king. It's a metaphor that he arose from sleep. Why? Because we arose from our sleep. That's Adam, man, is the individual who has the power, Adama, that is similar to above. And we create the reality above. We create the divine reality through our actions. And what was our actions that awoke the King of Kings from slumber, as it were, metaphorically? This is all a metaphor. Is because we reach deeper. Just like in sleep, you reach deeper. Your soul goes deeper inside, and therefore you wake up in the morning physically rejuvenated, spiritually rejuvenated. Likewise, this is what happened. In a time of darkness, a decree against the Jewish people, because of Mordechai's lead and Esther, both of them, they aroused within the Jewish people, and they woke up. They woke up. What did they wake? What did they wake up? What created the wake up? Is Mesiras Nefesh, self-sacrifice. Self-sacrifice means that you're ready to put your needs aside and to fulfill what God needs from us. That's what they did. And then they brought that into their minds and hearts, into their intelligence, and into their feelings. They brought that down. Now, what does that mean today? Today, it means, one of the ways it means, and the Maimer, the way that Rebbe describes it, is the very beginning of the code of Jewish law, the path that a Jew needs to take in observance of all of this, commandments of the Torah. The first thing before you come there is don't be embarrassed by those who are naysayers, those that are mocking. It's nothing to be touched by them. Got to do what you got to do. Do the mitzvah. Be proud as a Jew. Don't worry about walking around looking like a Jew and doing mitzvahs publicly like a Jew. That's what the Jewish people did in the times of Haman, that there was a decree against them, and yet they went out publicly and they stormed heaven. Children, thousands of children gathering together to pray to the Almighty in a public forum, when there's a decree hanging over them that they are to be annihilated. Didn't stop. Being Jewish, acting Jewish, and doing the mitzvahs. So likewise, we have to have that self-sacrifice. Sacrifice meaning that even if it doesn't make sense, even if we aren't feeling it, we give ourselves over to that which we got to do to fulfill the divine decree, the divine will. And even when it comes to then bringing it into a love and awe of God. So it's not because I'm loving God, I want to love him. No, it's because he's commanded us. And we want to feel the command of God. Give me just one moment. because it's his command. We're fulfilling his desire. Then we make it into our desire and our understanding and our feelings. But if it's love because I'm infatuated, then it's all about me. But it's because this is what my beloved needs from me, wants from me, has commanded me even. That's amazing. By the way, in human relationships, likewise, real love is expressed in fulfilling the needs of your beloved. Not about you and your feelings, not about you feeling more, that you're more fulfilled. Well, that's not real love. It's not true love. L'chaim. And that causes the king, not the Shnas HaMelech, the king's sleep, as it were, God looking the other way, if you will, or rather bringing all of the divine light that was not shining in this world and bringing out the greatness of the Jewish people, the goodness of the Jewish people, the exaltedness of the Jewish people. Hence a decree against the Jewish people to annihilate them. And yet, now, because of the ways of the Jewish people, that arose God. And now, a new light is introduced into this world that becomes the light that we can transform the darkness into light, the bitterness into sweetness. And that's what happened in the times of Mordechai and Esther in the story of Purim, that the king Achashverosh made a decree against the Jewish people. But then things gets switched around when he awoke up from his sleep and he read, and it was read to him from the book of remembrance of the days of the king's palace and what Mordechai had done to save the life of the king. And now he wanted to repay him. So what do you do for a person that the king wants to reward? He asks the archenemy of the Jewish people, Haman, who thinks he's speaking about him. What a transformation. He says, no. Well, he doesn't say no. He just says, okay, put on the king's robes, put on the crown on the king, on the king's crown, the king's horse, and you take Mordechai, Haman, and bring him into the middle of town and say, this is what you do to the person who the king has found favor in the king's eyes. And then also as the Megillah, that's in the story of the Megillah, we see the transformation there. How he was coming to ask the king, Haman was coming to ask the king to hang Mordechai from the gallows that he had prepared for him, because he would not bow down to him. And here it's completely transformed, that bitterness, that darkness, into light, into sweetness. And then as Megillah continues, that the Jewish people then had aura, they had light, they had simcha, they had joy, besasan, and gladness, v'yikar, and exaltedness, and so it will be for us. What is that aura? What does it mean they had light? They had Torah, because Torah is what illuminates us. And simcha, they had joy, which is Yom Tov, the holidays. That's what brings us real joy. Sasan, Mila, circumcision. What a gladdened heart we have that we can fulfill the will of God through circumcision. By Yikar, that refers to tefillin. And in God, he commands us, whatever he commands, he does, just like a good parent. They say, do what I do, not what I say. God says, do what I do. I put on tefillin. course, not physical tefillin. And in his tefillin, what is it? What's written there? The greatness of the Jewish people. Mi ka'amcha goyecha ba'aretz. Who is like you? A goyecha, the one nation in the land. That even uh, when it comes to matters of earthiness, of materiality, the Jewish people are one and unique, because we take that and the materialism, the earthiness, and we don't use it just for our own satisfaction, for our own fulfillment, but we use it to connect to the Almighty, to make it and elevate it into the divine. That's what his tefillin speak about. And with this, we join one redemption to another redemption. From the redemption of the Jewish people that was full of light, joy, gladness, and exaltedness, that was in those, and as it is now, as we find ourselves in the last moments of before the final redemption, coming of Mashiach. So from the redemption of Purim, we will come to the final and complete redemption of Mashiach, when then all the kings, earthly leaders, will be there to serve the divine purpose that will be through the Jewish people. And that all and that and that the kings of the world, the leaders of the world, the people of the world will then help the Jewish people in their fulfillment, and ultimately in the holy land of Israel, where the eyes of God are there from the beginning of the year to the end of the year. God's providence is there in the land and protecting the Jewish people, and in particular in Jerusalem, the place where King David brought the holiness, the divine holiness there. King David, who is Malka Mashiach, the King Mashiach that comes from him. And in there, particularly on a Temple Mount, the place that God has provided, that this will be in a manner of swiftness, with that will be beyond any limitation. And we will do it in a way adalayada, that till we don't know. Till we don't know. In other words, as we say l'chaim on Purim, until you don't know the difference between blessed is Mordechai and cursed is Haman. And we will dance into the great joy beyond any limitation, to the Geula Hamitis Vashlema, to the true redemption, the complete redemption, mamish, speedily in our days, literally, all of the Yidden throughout all of the generations, and the lead of them, the leader of our generation, as Mordechai was the leader together with Esther, Hamalka in their generation. So likewise in our generation, the final redemption, together with a complete nation of the Jewish people, with the completion of the Torah, and the complete full land of Israel, in a manner that Hashem will expand, Hashem, your God, will expand the boundaries that will include Kini, Kenizi, Kadmoni, the three nations. And that means literally that the land will be expanded. In this world, and literally, Karav Mamish, very speedily, very soon. Literally, Tiagula Amitas Hashlema will be the the true and complete redemption, the Holy Israel b'meshach kol haders, that is the Jewish people been working on for the continuum of all the generations since creation. Shams begufim, which will include all of the souls that have to come back into a body. Mashiach Sikenu will be through Mashiach, our righteous one. Mamish, speedily in our days. Mamish, literally. Amen. With that, we conclude our mimer that the Rebbe said in 1985. That night, the king arose from sleep. So it's all up to us so we can do it. And we just give ourselves over to what Hashem needs from us, wants from us, commands us. And without an embarrassment, feeling that's, different than others. Well, we are. We give ourselves over. And Purim. So just a reminder, Purim, you have to hear the Megillah today. The whole Megillah. If you can't go to synagogue to hear the entire Megillah, read it yourself. You have to read the words. Right? Read it in English if you can't read it in the Hebrew. You have to give to 2 poor people money. If you send me money, I'm giving to poor people. I've already given to poor people and had in mind those who would give. If you're going to go online and give today to Chabad Zichron, I'll make sure that it gets to poor people, to 2 poor people. You have to give 2 edible foods to 1 person, a man to a man, a woman to a woman, as a gift. And Purim Suda, make hamotzi, bread, and have a festive meal, kosher one, of course, for Jewish people. It has to be kosher, and celebrate and say l'chaim. All right, folks, we'll see you. We're going to read the Megillah this morning. So I don't know if there's going to be Chumash or Rashi. There'll be Tanya. I don't know. Maybe there'll be a few minutes for Chumash or Rashi. I'm not certain. All right. Afrei Purim, everybody.